up to my YouTube family and friends? This is Trucker CB coming back with another video. How are you guys doing today? So today is actually Sunday, and I thought it'd be interesting to come on here and discuss some things that's going on in the trucking community that can't say we didn't see coming. Now, for everyone that don't know, I am a truck driver, so I think that I'm pretty much fit to discuss certain topics when it comes to the trucking industry, even though I'm trying to get away from the videos and all that. But I can't help but, to keep my eyes and my focus on something that I do on a daily basis, which is driving trucks. And one of the things that's been happening in the trucking community that I don't think we talk enough about is the fact that the gas and the fuel prices are going extremely up. And I know this really doesn't bother a lot of the company drivers, but if you are a owner operator or a lease operator, this will most definitely affect you and how you're getting your money and how much money you are going to get. So let's dive into this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. One moment. All right, sorry you guys. I just had a message come in from my dispatcher about the load I have to pick up tonight. But let's continue, because I wanted to share something with you guys that I thought would be a little interesting about this discussion, which, like I said, if you're an owner operator or a lease operator, then this will most definitely affect you.
The U.S. economy. Prices at the pump keep soaring, hitting new record highs, and for the first time, the cost over $4 in all 50 states. Today, the average price of a gallon of gas, $4.56. That's a 16-cent jump from just last week.
Now, y'all notice she said a 16-cent jump since last week. That is ridiculous. When have any kind of prices soared that high within a week? Not even cigarettes soared that high in a week. So let's continue.
Diesel prices also jumping to $5.57. That's up more than $2 from a year ago. Correspondent Aaron Nolan explains how these price spikes are taking a toll on the trucking industry.
Nicole, 24/7, 365, you'll find drivers at truck stops all across America. They're either fueling, getting something to eat, or taking a rest. But diesel prices right now in America are anything but comforting. In fact, some companies are being forced to lay off employees.
If it continues like this.
So I'm going to just keep pausing this video because I want to touch on some things as we go along with it. So you notice he said that this is affecting companies and them laying off employees. So this isn't a matter of life and death. This isn't anything less than a matter of life and death, because that's your livelihood. So if they're laying you off because of the gas prices, it's like, where else can you go for work if the company that you relied on to, support your wages is laying you off for the exact reason? So the next company you go to is going to have the exact same mindset. They're trying to keep as little as drivers in their seats as possible. So most companies now are making their drivers turn to teaming because it's saving fuel. And even my company, they're making us shut our trucks off when we're in idle. Like, we can't even idle our trucks, in which I'm a layover driver. So, there's no way I'm shutting my truck off. But if it gets to the point where they're watching my fuel levels and they're saying like, look, dude, you got to cut the trucks off, then I'm going to be in trouble, because I'm not about to sit and I'm down south at that 100-degree weather with no AC running. That's just ridiculous. But let's continue.
Well, I have to park my truck.
The pain at the pump. It's not just another cliche for American truck drivers. The industry that delivers goods from coast to coast is dealing with more than just 18 wheels. Just take a look at the diesel prices soaring across our country, leaving some truckers to hit the brake pedal. And for owner and operator Omar Edwards of North Carolina, he's having to lay off employees while finding a way to maximize profit.
I'm heading over to Atlanta to actually pick up one of my drivers. We're going to be team driving right now.
That are some of the ways that we're trying to fight.
Notice what he just said. I just mentioned it. They're turning to team driving because the fuel prices is just too high to turn profit. So in order to cut the fuel cost and maximize your profit, you have to think ahead of the curve, which is, I mean, I give them props, but I mean, I wouldn't start a business unless I knew I could cover my rear end when it comes to making sure my employees get paid. And that brings me to something I want to talk about also with being an owner operator. Now, I've been driving 5 years now, you guys, and I always get this question, Trucker CB, why don't you go and buy your own trucks and have your own fleet and your own company, be an owner operator, blase, blase. What I tell people is, it's not, first of all, it's very many people can afford to actually put trucks on the road with all the legal necessities you need to be properly, you know, DOT regulated to be on the road. Like, there's no way, like, it costs a lot of money. I don't think a lot of people understand that. It costs a lot of freaking money to operate these heavy machineries. And aside from just the fuel prices alone, you have insurance. Is just so much more money just to even find a trucking insurance company that's willing to accept you is the hard part. Like, you can go buy a truck all you want, but are they going to accept you under their authority? Like, it's not a game out here, you guys. So when people ask me that question, it's one of those answers. I give them a straightforward answer. Like, look, dude, if it was that easy, everyone would do it, but it's not that easy, you guys. So, I mean, once again, what are you going to do when something like this is an economic disaster? When something like this happens, there's no running away from it. You can't do anything about it but lay off drivers and try to keep yourself from going underwater. And people say all day long, yeah, they look out for their drivers. But look, when a natural disaster from the economy happens, who's the first people that go? It's not going to be the managers or the upper guys. It's going to be the guys in the truck that's driving. They're going to be the first people that go. So, I mean, I wouldn't take on that responsibility and put other people up for a job that I unless I knew I could pay them day in and day out, even if a disaster struck, you know. So, I mean, but it's a tough situation to be in. Let's continue.
The diesel prices to increase more revenue.
As with unleaded, the reasons why diesel is soaring start with the war in Ukraine. But Clay Ingram with AAA adds the rise in fuel is also accelerated by the rise in commercial activity.
Demand going up for diesel across the country. We're transporting more and more goods. People are shopping online. People are out spending money again.
And as we turn to the traditional most expensive fuel time of the year, truck drivers are bracing for higher prices for the long haul.
Talking with one truck driver today at this stop here in Arkansas, I asked him pretty simply, how much does it cost to fill up? It really was staggering, Nicole, to think about the number he told me.
The crazy part is about this whole news story is they're at the TA in Arkansas that I lay over at sometimes. That's what's crazy. Like, I'm looking at the truck stop that I be at.
$1,000 to fill up his truck. Back to you.
Yeah, that is staggering. All right.
All right, I'm gonna pause it. So he just said that a guy told him that's a driver that it takes $1,000 freaking dollars to fill up his rig. That is a lot of money. And I'm a company driver. Everyone knows that. So I don't have the luxury to pay for my own fuel, which I don't think that's a luxury anyway. I think that company drivers are winning right now because we don't have to deal with any of this. All we have to do is listen to our dispatcher or our transportation manager when they say cut off your trucks, and that's it. I still purchase fuel when I want. They can't tell me I can't purchase fuel. I mean, they can, but I mean, how am I going to get back to my route or back to the terminal? So, I mean, I really feel for some of you owner operator guys or you lease operator guys, man. For me, I don't think right now would be the time that I would try to get into the business of owning a truck. It's just not logical, you guys. And I know there's a million guys out here that say how much money they make from, you know, being an owner operator. But yeah, you probably do make a lot of money, but just with the fuel costs alone, dude, it's just it's a disaster waiting to happen, guaranteed, man. But I really do hope that if you guys are listening and you guys are out here on the road, just make sure you're watching your fuel prices. And I mean, there's nothing much you can do other than, you know, try to put it in cruise control. If you're in a stick shift, try to, you know, shift as less as possible, you know, which is going to be hard to do. But I mean, you don't have to take it all the way to the 9th or 10th gear to reach 60 miles an hour, you know. So just think about that. So let's go to the, I want to cover something real quick. So, hold on, I'm trying to find it real quick. All right, here we go. So, the gas average a year ago was $3.17 per gallon. Okay, and the year after that, it was $4.57 a gallon. Guess what the total diesel national average is for this year? It is $5.57. That is a lot of money, you guys. I mean, that's damn near $1,200 to fill up a rig. And I just couldn't, from $3 to $5. Like, do you guys understand how much of a jump that is? Dude, like, I mean, golly, I really do feel for a lot of you guys that's out here and you own your trucks, and and especially if you have people up underneath you that is actually driving for you, like, and you're not a mega carrier, you got like 5 or 6 trucks. Those are the guys that's going to be getting hit the hardest. I think that's because they're not doing enough business with those 3 to 6 trucks, like let's say a CR England or a mega carrier. They got hundreds of trucks and drivers to where they're profiting, you know, for every 3 trucks they're profiting, you know, 20, 30,000, whatever their numbers are. I don't know their numbers, but I'm just giving an example. So if they're profiting off of 3 or 4 trucks, by the time they make it to like their 50th truck, they have enough to keep the business floating. You get what I'm saying? But for the guys that's only have 3 to 6 trucks, even 10 trucks, I mean, it's really going to hurt you guys because you're not turning enough profit to flip those 10 trucks. Not with this fuel. I mean, it's just because every time you go send a guy for a load, guess what? That's $1,000 fuel trip for sure, because you're going across America. You're not going up the street. So in order to go get that load, you have to pay that $1,000 for that fuel. And we know how drivers are that we hire. Like, they're not taking their time. I mean, there's a lot of good drivers, but for the most part, there's some pretty shitty drivers out here. They're driving these trucks reckless, and they're not watching their fuel costs. They're not watching how they're shifting, how they're driving. They're not watching that, you guys. So, I mean, more power to you guys. Okay, give me one moment. Let's go back up here, and I want to mention something else also. Okay, so we're going to move to the next story, you guys. It says 15 people was charged in a commercial truck and marijuana trafficking and money laundering scheme. The feds seized $40 million in assets. That is crazy, yo. So let's get to it. And I'm going to read this article for you guys. I don't think there's a video up for it, but according to the indictment from 2016 until this year, I don't know this guy's name. I'm just calling Adrian, and the drug trafficking organization he led used commercial level logistics and warehousing to distribute large quantities of marijuana throughout the United States. Pause. Why would any truck driver be hauling marijuana that you can clearly freaking smell? That is the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. I mean, I know you're trying to get your money, but if you're going to be, you know, transporting drugs, at least do something that don't smell. That's crazy. All right, let's continue. They distribute large quantities of marijuana throughout the United States and collect millions of dollars in cash proceeds. The indictment alleges that the organization utilized commercial trucks and airplanes to facilitate the shipment of tractor trailer loads of marijuana to warehouse and other commercial locations in various states, including Indiana. The indictment further alleges that the organization used semi-trucks and an airplane to transport large quantities of cash back to Adrian, whatever his name is, and his co-conspirators in California, and later used cashier's checks and banks accounts to launder the proceeds. Adrian was arrested in California and was ordered detained in the custody of the U.S. Marshals Service pending trials. That is crazy. Why would anyone think that this would work? Like, come on, you guys. This is 2022. Dealing drugs is not where it's at anymore, you guys. Like, I mean, I don't care how much money. Look, and I'm going to continue reading this article because they made a lot of money off of this. But in my opinion, it's not worth the sacrifice of your life. No amount of money is worth your life. You got to smarten up, you guys. So, and if anyone ever came to me with an idea like this, you might as well go talk to the police, because I'm going to tell on you. I ain't even going to cap with you, y'all. I mean, you're just asking for someone to tell on you. Like, how could you? I mean, I couldn't put myself into something like this. Eventually, you're going to get caught. Like, there's too many people. This is the $850 million, or this is a $10 million operation. I mean, that's too many people. For one, when you're doing any criminal act, you don't ever want to go into any criminal act with more than the amount of people you can count on one hand. Because out of 10 people, there's going to be one person that's going to tell on you. Like, they get, and think about it, we know how drivers operate. Like, being a driver myself, out of 10 drivers, there's going to be like 4 reckless fucking drivers. Excuse my language. There's going to be 4 of them that just drives completely reckless. So you're telling me you're going to trust all this marijuana and all this money laundering in the hands of a stupid driver? Makes no freaking sense. But let's continue. Authorities say they have seized $40 million worth of drugs, alleged drug proceeds, and assets purchased with drug proceeds. This includes over 3 tons of marijuana and THC containing products valued at over $10 million, along with over a dozen firearms. Hold on, I gotta stop. So these guys are just blunt out criminals. They're not even, I wouldn't even consider them professional truck drivers, because if you're reading or keeping along with me reading it, they're just telling you they got drugs, they got guns, they got other THC products. Like, they're just armed criminal actions. Like, this is just a bunch of criminals that tried to hit a jackpot in the trucking industry for them carrying, they just wanted to carry their drugs. That's all they wanted. They never wanted to be drivers. They just wanted to get their money. And this is where it got them. So additionally, authorities have seized or restrained cash and bank accounts totaling over $8 million, a private jet valued at $900,000, numerous luxury automobiles, including 2 Rolls Royces, 2 Bentleys, a Ford GT, and a Lamborghini valued at $2 million. High-end jewelry valued at over $8 million. Golly! That is a lot of money, though. I'm not going to... How many of you guys would take that? Be honest. Will you guys take that job if they came to you? I couldn't do it, man. But if you would ask me about 10 years ago, I probably would have took it. But knowing what I know now, it's not worth it. Numerous pieces of artwork and collectible items valued at over $850,000, and 9 pieces of real estate with a total value of $10 million. Wow. If convicted on the conspiracy with intent to distribute marijuana, each defendant faces between 10 years to life imprisonment, no less than 5 years supervised release, and a $10 million fine. If convicted on the continuing criminal enterprise charge, Adrian faced a mandatory 20 years up to life imprisonment, no more than 5 years supervised release, and a $2 million fine. If convicted on the money laundering, each defendant faces up to 20 years in prison, up to 3 years of supervised release, and a $500,000 fine. Agencies assisting in the investigation included the Drug Enforcement Administrator, Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation, the Brownsburg Police Department, the Clarksville Police Department, the South Indiana Drug Task Force, and the Hamilton-Boone County Drug Task Force. These guys are going down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read off the list of the defendants and their charges. So we got Adrian, the guy that's in charge. He's 36 out of Orange, California. And his charges is conspiracy to distribute marijuana, continuing criminal enterprise, and money laundering conspiracies. Jasmine Adrian, so that's his wife. Wow. She's 31, Orange, California. Conspiracy to distribute marijuana, money laundering, and conspiracy. Crystal Thompson is 33 from Irvine, California. Conspiracy to distribute marijuana. So I'm taking the rest of these people are probably just the drivers. I'm gonna read off a few more. It's a long list of them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Man, there's more than 20 people on this indictment, but you guys get the gist. All right, let's. Nathan Canary, 37 of Indianapolis, Indiana. Conspiracy to distribute marijuana, possession of a firearm, and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, and possession of a firearm as a previously convicted felon. So look, you guys, some of these dudes that's in these trucks, we got to be careful out here. You never know who's next to you. Like when you do all this road rage and crap, it could be someone laundering marijuana for a criminal enterprise, and you have no idea. You flipping them off, telling him to pull over on the side of the road, and you pull over and he blows your brains out because he doesn't want to get caught. This is tragic. Okay, that's all I got for that one. You guys want me to read off one more? Let's do one more story. There's quite a few stories up. All right, so we got a story out of Arizona. Let's see what it says. Arizona interstate closed for fatal fiery three-truck crash. Three-truck crash. That is crazy. Wow. Okay, let's see. That sucks, man. I hate seeing fellow drivers' lives get taken this way, but you got to be safe out here. Okay, let's read a little bit of this article. Arizona transportation officials are asking drivers to seek alternate routes following a crash that claimed the life of a driver in Phoenix, Arizona. The crash occurred around 4:15 a.m. on Friday, May 20th on I-17 near Deer Valley Road in Phoenix. Local news outlet AZ Family reports that all three trucks involved in the crash belong to the same company, Shamrock Food. Wow. According to the report, a Shamrock truck stalled in the northbound lane of I-17. A second Shamrock truck driver saw the first driver break down and pulled over to provide assistance. The second driver, who pulled off to help, reportedly called the third Shamrock truck driver following behind them to warn about the stalled truck. The third driver was unable to stop in time and struck the stalled truck. The crash resulted in a major vehicle fire. The driver of the third truck that crashed into the stalled truck was killed in the crash. The Arizona Department of Transportation says the northbound I-17 is closed and drivers should seek alternative route. The crash is under investigation still. That sucks, man. But I just want to recap this video, man. We just did the 3 stories that I felt comfortable with. From obviously the fuel prices is what's going to affect more of us than, you know, the marijuana case or, you know, whatever. But I just felt like these are 3 strong stories that, you know, we need to keep an eye on, and, you know, just to navigate through this trucking industry. You guys always should be aware of your surroundings. You see a stalled vehicle in the road, always, first of all, put down the devices, put down the phones. And, you know, I know it's getting fancy now where everybody wants to record in the trucks, but you guys, it saves lives to just pay attention on the road. There's been plenty of times where I had to avoid objects in the middle of the road. And the only way to do that is if you're getting enough sleep and you're alert on your drive shift. So it's just crazy, man. In the blink of an eye, your life can be taken. So I would highly suggest that you take this serious. Again, like this is only the top 3 stories I found that I wanted to do. But trust me, you guys, there's so many more topics that we can discuss, and I'm gonna save it for another day. I just want to put another video out, show you guys that I'm serious about making content again. And I know I said I'm not going to really be covering trucking videos, which I don't want to do them for myself. Like, I don't want to be sitting in a truck making trucking videos, is what I meant. But I think this is the route that I'm probably going to go to, because I kind of like the narrative position where I can sit back, and if you guys are driving or something, I can, you know, kind of talk to you guys about what's going on around you. So it kind of, you know, gives you guys up on your toes and P's and Q's, you know, and it's definitely informative information that we should be paying attention to. So for one, keep your eyes on the fuel prices, especially to my owner operators and my lease operators. And number two, what was number two, you guys? Keep an eye on your surroundings. There's drug cartels apparently in the trucking industry. And number three, just be alert on the road. You never know when there's a car that stops in front of you or whatever. Just make sure you're alert and getting your sleep. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in for another episode with your boy Trucker CB. You guys give me feedback. Let me know how you guys like these videos, and if I should continue doing these kind of videos, and if there's anything I need to work on, be sure to comment in the comment section. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, and actually I'm not going to put my other social medias up yet, but just know I am working on my Instagram and my Twitter game. I'm trying to get up to par with everybody. And also, if you guys wanted to support this channel, you could Cash App me at Trucker CB, at Trucker CB on Cash App. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace. Y'all be safe out there.